What are you most excited for people to see with this new version?
I'm excited for people to see the love story. Like, I'm a sentimental guy at heart, and it reminds me of like classical movie storytelling. I love that notion, and then I'm curious to see how they respond to the way that we use sci-fi around the edges, and it slowly forms into the center of the story. Yeah.
Why we need a new version of Roswell?
Why do you know? I think it's a good place for where we are in the world to tell this type of story. I was joking around that they're the ultimate illegal aliens. They come from a place really, really far away, but they want the same thing that everyone wants, which is to find love, to find a home, to feel safe. So I believe in aliens. I'll say I watched some very interesting documentaries that seem hard to refute that there are not.
But you still refute?
I believe in our aliens on the show. Yeah.
Oh, what can you tease about the aliens on the show, and how difficult was it to find what they would be?
It would be. I think that what I love about our aliens is that they, much like the audience, they're not going to know that much more about themselves than any audience member coming in. So as they start to uncover their own abilities and look at their own mystery, they are really learning right along with the audience everything about their lives. Sometimes in some of these shows, their heroes can do everything and they're fully secure in what they're going to do, and what I love about that is we start at the same place, almost back at zero, because these people are hiding. They don't actually want to show their things, but as the mystery unfolds, they get to a place where they're going to have to do more and more. So I'm going to love that.
So I was asking what it's like working in Santa Fe, kind of on your own.
What's that?
I was asking Karina, like, what's like working in Santa Fe,
right.
kind of on your own,
sure.
Not around other shows.
Sure.
Kind of isolated, yeah.
It's isolated. I think it's the perfect place to tell our story. Like, there is so much sky, it feels like, in Santa Fe, and our show is about people that came from the sky, essentially. So I think it lends itself beautifully to that. It's also, we're a contemplative show, and the desert it has a spiritual quality to it that makes you want to think. And you stick a good-looking person on a post rail or on the head of a Chevy, and you have it. So I love it.
Did you look at the old series when you were coming up to this new one, or is it more books? I know it's sort of in the future, but what did you look at for sort of research? And will there be any sort of Easter eggs towards the old show?
Sure, that's a good question. What I'll say is, the source material is the books, and I was brought in after Karina had set it all up. I say we look at little nods and what'll be fun. What are the Easter eggs that fans would like? So we do look at that a little bit, for sure. I will say that for me, my wife was a huge fan. We have all the DVD box sets, and I watched some, and then I actually made it the pointed thing to stop watching because there's a lot of people in our rooms that know it very well, and so I thought that I would be more helpful if I could come in and pitch blind, so that I wasn't actually pitching things that I know had played themselves out. So we actually have a mix in the room of people that know the show really well. Some people have read the books, some people haven't read the books, and it's helpful when you're trying to build a story to have difference of opinion. It helps shake up that group think. Yeah.
Which of the characters are you sort of impressed with the most? Are you most excited for audiences to sort of see?
It's really hard because I will say we have a phenomenal cast, and anything that we throw in them, they all can do, and they all make me believe when I sit there at the monitors and watch. As far as the aliens, I think that people are going to really like Michael, just because of his devil-may-care nature. He's a little unpredictable, and that's kind of always fun to watch. But I think everyone's going to be invested in their emotional journeys. And I will say to our periphery characters, like the way that they slowly start to fold into the mystery, I'm very excited about them. Like, it really is an ensemble piece, and as we unfold the murder mystery, we have a lot of players that end up folding into that story in a very natural way.
Can you talk a little bit about the time jump, or the difference between the old show and the 10-year difference?
Right, aging
the old show,
right. Sure. I think that them being a little older and having a little more life experience, you just have that much more to mine. And we do things actually where we jump back to them in high school. And so you ask about nods to the old show, and it's kind of like our upside down way of nodding to those moments, because we have a murder mystery that started in that high school time and is unfolding now 10 years later. So that's actually something I'm excited for people to get their minds around, because I love whenever we throw to that time period. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then some shows, you said there's a murder mystery at the heart of this. Will questions be answered by the end of the first season? Because sometimes people hold on to...
No. Yeah, right. It's we planned out, like, how far are we going to resolve this sort of matter? And it's like, so the questions we raised at the beginning, there will be satisfying answers by the time you get to 13, and then we'll let the sort of larger mythology and mystery continue to spread out around that. The core question, the core ask, you'll get an answer.
Do you have plans to bring actors from the original series to this new one?
It's interesting because since it's not a sequel, it doesn't sort of like naturally fold in.
But it's a remake. It's some like a remake, no?
Yeah, and so
we're something in between.
Right. Yeah. So we're looking for creative ways. To sort of like, well, would it make sense? And since we do jump around in time, also is there a way to create something, create a little version, like a nice little Easter egg that we plop in, you know? We're still looking for that, figuring it out.
Are there any, besides the book and the old series, any other references? Classic series?
Sure.
What do you like about the sci-fi?
Well, I was going to say, of all the entities that helped this show launch, we're an Amblin show. So Amblin has a great breadth of alien stories, and so when we go to craft little pieces, it's a great well to draw from. Steven Spielberg is a good thing to pick from. Yeah. So there's like Close Encounters, E.T., those kind of things. We're trying to bake little moments into that.
How many episodes are in the first season?
We're doing 13.
Okay.
13.
And do you have a premiere date yet? Or?
We don't have a premiere date yet. Some of the tables.
April, no?
People keep telling me this April date. This is the first time that I'm learning.
Yeah.
The first semester. So you write the first semester, but no exact date.
We know it won't be in 2018, so I think we will be...
Maybe in April.
Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We're going to find out together.
Well, it's the first semester.
Yeah.
You mentioned flashbacks in the show. Will there be any flash forwards?
I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. It's a lot to bite off. At the moment,
How many episodes have
we're
you
juggling
shot already?
We're shooting episode 6.
6
right now. Yes.
Okay, so
we're about halfway.
Middle,
Right. I leave. I go to Santa Fe right after this, and we start 7. So we're right in the middle.
And what sort of sets were built for the show? And what are you used like the high school? Is that a real high school out there somewhere, or is that
we used to practice? Yeah, right. Because our core sets, like we have the diner. Liz works, and their home above that is core. There's core to both series, both the original and this one. We built a bar. Those are our two main places. Much like my life, it's food and a drink. And then outside essentially is we just have a set that lives around us everywhere we look. The desert is our biggest set. That's what I would say.
So some of the flashbacks.
Yes.
Will they include the alien life?
Will they include what?
Their alien life.
Alien life.
On their home planet. Or any of that.
We haven't flashed back that far. I would say. We do scenes in 1947, and we do scenes of them in high school, and we pop to them in various ages. Even in the pilot, you'll see them at 7 years old. So it's like we have their entire lives here to play with.
Okay. What was it like to have to cast that? To cast the same person at multiple ages?
It's always fun. Like sometimes you're like, oh, that person's the best actor, we'll hire them. And sometimes you're like, that person looks a lot like Nathan Parsons, let's cast that person. So there's kids in the pilot that we'll watch later, and they do a nice little montage, so you get to see we've aged down our group, and then you see them as little kids, and it's actually one of my favorite scenes in the pilot is to do like this little mini "This Is Your Life." Yeah.
And how sort of how many special effects are involved in the show, and how much will be sort of real, and what sort of?
Sure.
Can you talk about the special effects?
Sure, absolutely. It's funny, like mentioning Amblin. Amblin also has a great history of doing a lot of practical effects.
Yeah.
And so Karina and I talked a lot about that, like how do we represent their abilities? And one of the ways I think that grounds our show, and makes people connect is like it isn't so fantastical. It's just on the periphery. It's things that like if you're paying attention a little bit more, you might see it walking down the street. And some of that stuff's fun. It's fun to me as a filmmaker to try to design those things with our whole crew. You know, how do we do this practically so that our actors can be there and we're not painting everything in CGI? Although we did get some drones and for big, wide, huge desert shots. And every show I've been on, it's like, we're going to have a drone. We've never had a drone, and now we have. They're fun to fly around and play with.
Yeah, with the murder mystery, and just basically with one of your lead characters being a police officer, do you get into any action sequences?
We have a little bit, yeah. A little bit. Again, romance first is what I would say, but we have little bursts of them, and we also are growing in slightly as the mystery, I'd say, sort of deepens, and our aliens are all forced to look deeper at their own lives. We're starting to put them into more dangerous situations, which require a little bit of stunts. Yeah.
Who would you think the core audience is for this show?
I think it's actually a wide breadth. I think that there's the people that'll be curious, that loved it from beforehand. There's people that know nothing about it. I think that'll fold in, and like I love genre, so it's like I watch anything genre. So I'm really curious to see what people come for and what they stay for. Because again, too, I do think like as touchstones of like Friday Night Lights and the crossroads of Friday Night Lights, Amblin, and a murder mystery, like that to me is there's multiple things to hook into the show.
And what about the political undertones as well? We haven't talked to you about that in this sort of day and age. Watching,
I think that they're there. Like we're entertaining first, but if you can trick someone into teaching them a little something, I think that's good. Ultimately, we do have these little touchstones, but I'd say that we're a hopeful show. We always talked about like we don't want to be a dour show. So there's the hope that people can connect and find each other and learn about each other's differences. I think at the very, very core of any little political thing that we ask.
Brilliant.